when people share these stories, and there's some really interesting research. There's a number of folks at Stanford who have done quite a bit of research on storytelling. And what they talk about is that stories are way easier to remember when you're in a difficult situation, right? So you can recall a story differently than a theory or a concept. But what's also really interesting is when you tell a story, the reader, even though it had nothing to do with them, they can find themselves in the story,
Absolutely.
which is
Absolutely.
fascinating, right? Like that's a really interesting psychological dimension to us, which
Yeah.
is that it makes people receptive, and it even sort of puts them in a mindset of thinking, yeah, I could imagine myself in that, right? And that's
Yeah.
where I've
Yeah.
actually found this incredibly helpful in negotiation. Because if you say something that I really disagree with and I push back, chances are we're not going to get very far. But if you say something and I say, you know what, let me share an experience or let me share a story with you where I dealt with something similar and maybe we can use that as a jumping off point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we've now changed the conversation and you and I are engaged in a story. And there's a power to that we've all seen. And I think what I'm trying to do is get people to put their finger on it and really sort of dive in and share, uh, you know, these things that have happened to them and maybe to help them think differently about what they could have done for the future so they grow and learn.